I'd like to ask you, Ken Van Liew, what is the biggest risk?
Yeah, I think, you could look at risk in a couple different contexts. One, you obviously want to look at the risk, of your personal life. I've been in situations where I've done big projects or, where I've placed all my assets in a trust and, if things were to go array, in the sense of building projects, in a lot of cases, I used to have to put up performance bonds. So it was a large sense of similar to like a personal guarantee. And when the bonding company steps in, which you're, being in insurance must be very familiar. We used to get into subguard policies, and because bonding was very expensive. The construction in the high rise we talked about before, the construction portion of it was always the highest risk, right? Some of those contracts were in the neighborhood of $50 million. You're buying, curtain walls from all different parts of the world. I was traveling to Italy and Canada and, making sure things are getting on the boat in time. And, all these little things, everything had to work like clockwork. And, in that world, it was extremely risky. And what we used to do is, we would bond every single trade if we had to. Or if I couldn't bond the trades, I would have to subguard the entire project in order to, satisfy the bank, in case something happened. This mechanism was in place to save the day. And I guess, if you're just looking at an investment, there's risk with that. You want to make sure, you're buying an asset, there's not going to be this huge capital expenditure. My expertise in building buildings, I can go in and, jump in an elevator shaft and tell you, when the thing's gonna, die. I could go and look at central HVAC plants from building data centers and, what's going to happen. So, I think the biggest risk with people buying existing assets is not knowing what they're looking at, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, I gotta, upgrade the electrical service to 400 amps to get the tenant upstairs. And that means digging the road. And I had these two dentists that had a building in White Plains. They wanted to convert it to residential, but we needed to upgrade the gas service and the water service. And, they waited too long, and then they started building 400 unit next door. And I'm like, guys, you got to pull the trigger now, So those are the kind of risks, not knowing what you don't know, or not, like we said before, recognizing what you don't know, and getting out of your own way, because our egos, I think, sometimes on a personal level. So there's all different kind of levels, I think, all different kind of contexts. So I talked about personal, existing assets, how the development is viewed, and how, I think that insurance aspect comes into play, in that case.